Hello, instructors. This is a video that's going to walk you through the incomplete process. I understand that, because of COVID, there's a lot more incompletes than normal, so we want to kind of walk you through the basics of it. We're going to deal with two very specific scenarios. Number one is if you need to extend the entire course for the entire class, maybe by a couple of days because there were some lab issues or something came up, so you just need to extend the course by a few days. The second scenario is if we need to give a student a formal incomplete. All right. Now, quick student services announcement. Please make sure that you fill out all the correct paperwork. You have the signed contract with the end date and all that good stuff in that scenario. The one thing that I really want to stress is this is the way that you need to do it. All right. I know some instructors just add students to the winter 2021 shell in this case and do not do that for a lot of reasons. First, in order for the student to get in there, that would mean that they would have to go into registration, register, and pay for an additional course. And if you were going to just add them manually, be aware that that is a fairly significant FERPA violation. You are sharing student information with a person who is not registered in the class. So please do not just enroll the student in the course. More importantly for you is it's way harder that way. If you follow this procedure here, the nice thing is that student will stay in this shell. All their work will be saved, so you don't have to toggle back and forth and try and email them which assignments they're missing or anything like that. They stay in this course. Their grade is calculated based on this course, so it's much less work for you and much easier this way. Okay, so let's get started. The first one we talked about is simply, hey, something happened. I need to extend the course by 3 days or something like that. So that's easy enough. We just go down to the bottom and click on Settings. Make sure you're on this first tab that says course details, and then down here when you see dates, there may or may not be a date in here. Please make sure you have a start date and an end date. Canvas sometimes won't work if you have just a start or just an end date. So what I'm going to do is just go ahead and make it official. It takes an additional 10 seconds. So I'm going to put September 28th, the first day of the quarter, and it was supposed to end the 11th. I'm going to give them an additional couple of days to the 16th. Now, this seems minor, but the time actually can be important. The default time always in Canvas is set for midnight. The problem is people define midnight differently. You morning people think of midnight on the 16th as the beginning of the day. Night people like myself view midnight as the end of the day. So if you put midnight, it's actually going to cause confusion as do you mean the beginning of December 16th or the end? So to avoid all of that, we simply either put 12:01 or 11:59 to be clear what we mean. So I actually mean the end of the day. So I'm going to put 11:59 p.m. And again, that just removes any bit of unclarity there so students know exactly what I mean. End of day on the 16th. All right, really important, really important. Please make sure that you check this box, the one that says students can only participate in the course between these dates. If you don't click that, then all of your changes won't go into effect. So we click this date, and then we click on Update Course Details. And that's it. Now, my entire course for every student and for me, for grading, for posting, for submitting, for taking tests, everything ends December 16th at 11:59 p.m., end of the day on the 16th. Okay, so that's the easy one. I want to extend it for everybody. Let's talk about the other scenario, the formal incomplete. So, I've got a class, 9 out of 10 students had no problem. They finished it. I have the one student who I have to give a formal incomplete to. So I've got the paperwork on file. I'm ready to go. So what we're going to do is create a special section for that student. So we go back to settings, if you're not in there yet, and we click on the sections tab. Okay, and we're going to add a new section called incomplete. Oops. There we are. You can call it whatever you want, but incomplete is pretty self-explanatory for everyone. So incomplete. All right, so we've created the section, and then we click on it to edit it. We're going to want to change the date. So we click on it and click on Edit Section. You see that there's no starting and end date. So again, it's not technically necessary, but to avoid any confusion, I'm going to set the beginning date for the first day of the quarter. And the most common thing is a full quarter in order to complete it. So I'm going to put the end date of March 16th. And again, just to avoid any confusion, I'm going to put 11:59 p.m. You can put any time you want, if you want it 5 p.m., 3 p.m., noon, whatever you want. But it's best to put a time in. And again, I want to stress this, please click on the box. Student can only participate in the course between these dates, okay? And once you do that, this goes into effect. Now we're almost done. We have a section we've created. We've called it incompletes. We've said we want it to go through in a quarter. Now all we have to do is put our people in there. So we click on people, and my student is Zippy Pinhead. Unsurprisingly, Zippy didn't finish in time. So we go click on this 3 buttons to the far right side, click on edit sections, and you'll notice they're already going to be enrolled in the default section. And I just start typing incomplete, and there we are. So now Zippy is still enrolled in the default section, and we've also added the new section we added, incomplete. So click on update, Zippy's added. I also would add myself to that section. It's not really mandatory, but it does alleviate some problems. So I would always add myself to avoid any problems. And you'll notice now on that people tab that both myself and the student are enrolled in both the default course and our new incomplete section we just created. Okay? And basically we're done. Okay, we've created the section, put an end date, put the student in there. However, there is one problem that a lot of people run into, so we need to talk about that, and that is availability dates. So if you don't have any availability dates, you are done. Feel free to stop listening. But for those of you who have availability dates for your assignment, you're going to need to go in and clear those out, because what will happen is the student will go into the course, they're in the course, they can submit assignments, but they can't take that quiz or they can't submit that assignment because you said it was only available for the first week of October. Okay, so we have to go in and clear those out. There is no workaround. Sorry, you've got to do that. So we're going to click on assignments to go look at it. Over on this right-hand side, we're going to click on the More button and then click on Edit Assignment Dates. And we can look in there and we see, aha, I've got a quiz there that's only available for a week in October. So if this is one of the assignments that the student needs to take, I've got to clear these out. So I just delete them out. There we are. And then click on Save. And that will make it available to students. You can actually do all of these at the same time and clear out all your availability dates, okay? So hopefully that walks you through the process. If you've got any questions, as always, go ahead and give us a call.